What's going on, people? Welcome to your 28th, I think, After Effects tutorial. And in this tutorial, we're going to begin talking about my favorite subject in After Effects, and that's lights. Now, lights is the thing that separates like amateur clips from professional video clips in After Effects. This is what makes the difference from making your video look okay or making it look awesome. So let's go ahead, and enough of the small talk, can't wait to get into this. Let's get started. I dragged a clip of me in here because let's get a good pic. There we go. Not bad, not bad. We'll go with that one right there. And in order to work with lights, we first need to work with the 3D image. So light can't affect 2D image, so if you want to convert this 2D clip to 3D, go ahead and click this checkbox, and now we can use the lights. So go ahead and click Layer, New, Camera, and excuse me, that was an OR tutorial, Layer, New, Light, and just like the camera, as I was going to say, this gives you a whole new layer with its all new properties. And for this type of light, let's double click it. You have a bunch of different options. We're going to be working with Spotlight since this is the easiest to learn with. And a spotlight is exactly what you would think. It's just like if you were holding a spotlight. It has one source that's usually a cone shape that you can move anywhere around you want, closer, further away, and it's represented by this cone in After Effects. So you can see all of the properties right here, such as position, point of interest. Again, the point of interest is where you're aiming it, just like this. The position is where you would be holding it, I guess. And that's pretty much all there is to this. Again, the rotation, probably you're going to be working with only Y rotation for now. But that's not what we're here to talk about. You learn all about those with camera. What we're here to talk about is the light options that are specific to only lights. Now again, I told you spot is the one we're going to be working with in this tutorial. In the next couple of tutorials, I'll tell you guys what this means. But spot is pretty much just a spotlight and what you would think of a light. And intensity, let's go ahead and get that light out so you can see it. Intensity is how bright your light is. So 100% is pretty bright. You can go beyond 100 to get like super mega like tanning lights, or you can go under 100 to get like, oh my god, my light bulb's almost dying, I can barely see light. But for right now, let's leave this somewhere around 100. There we go. The color of the light is exactly like you think of it. Right now we're having a nice dark green color, but let's go ahead and change this to something like a nice orangish color, and this should give us a nice warm orangish feeling. Again, let's go ahead and increase the light, and this just brightens up the mood a bit. Let's go ahead and change that to a bit more yellow, and bam, look at that. So again, the color, pretty simple. Now the cone angle, I'm going to change this, and I want you to take a look at it right here. What this does is affects the shape or direction. Again, if you have like something like 4 degrees, it's going to turn it into a laser pointer. If you have something like above 100, it's going to turn it into just a huge light that goes in every direction. So this is how you can, well, it pretty much cone angle. Can't say it better than that. Now the cone feather is a little bit different. You see this where it kind of fades in, fades out on the side? What the cone feather does, and again its default is 50, is it makes it fade in or have it be more precise. And let me show you. If you have it at 0, this is going to give you a nice crisp edge. And again, this doesn't really look like a light at all, but sometimes you want to achieve this effect when you're working with After Effects. But a more natural would be something like close to 100 actually, where light kind of fades in around the edges. But the default's 50, so that's where we're going to be talking with in the tutorials to come probably. But again, I just wanted to go over in this tutorial. These are defaults for the light options under here, and if you don't know how to get to them, just go ahead and click that little light triangle. Again, make sure you're working with your layer in 3D. Watch what happens when I click this off 3D. It just turns back to normal because light can't work with anything but 3D. So if you're saying, alright, WTF is wrong with this, that means your 3D is not clicked. So again, these are your basic light options. If you want to move your light around physically, you either use this rotation or just go ahead and grab the point of interest. It's probably the easiest way. Or just go ahead and grab the light itself and move it around. But for now, that's it for this tutorial. Let me change this color. I just feel like give it a nice, oh yeah, this is gonna be good. Oh yeah, that's what I was going for. But anyways, that's it for this tutorial. Those are your basics of light. In the next tutorial, I'm probably going to be showing you how to get like high quality lighting that they do in professional videos. But for now, just play around with light. It's the easiest way and best way you can learn on it. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next tutorial. What's up guys, welcome to your 29th After Effects tutorial, and in this tutorial I'm going to be going over shadows. Now, well, I guess let's just go ahead and get started. Enough with me talking. So let's go ahead and I'm going to open a new composition, and by open it I mean make one. Let's just go ahead and drag a clip right here, get rid of this one. So now we have just a basic clip. You can even have a solid if you want, but I'm just going to have a clip. Let me get a good still of me. And oh yeah, that's a good one right there. And now I made this little thing in Photoshop, and it's just my name. And make sure that when you make it, it has some alpha, which mean or transparency, you might call it. So as you can see, this has some transparency. You can see through it. So the next thing we want to do is go ahead and create a new light. So go ahead and click Layer, New Light. And make sure it's any light besides ambient. Ambient means pretty much covers the whole thing. Spotlight, yeah, just put a spotlight. And make sure this little cast shadows box is checked. Now go ahead and click OK. Bam, look at that, nothing happened. And let me tell you why. First of all, whenever you make new composition, 3D is off by default and shadows can only cast on 3D. So go ahead and click those 3D boxes just like that. And now let me find my Z and move it out. Now as you can see, we still aren't really getting any shadows. And when I mean aren't really, I mean we're not getting any shadows at all. And that's because whenever we want to cast shadows, this light is good right now, but we have to set up these layers so that shadows are enabled on them. So the first thing we need to do is go ahead and click material options under your Bucky layer and click cast shadow. See, it's off. Go ahead and click on right there. And now we don't have a shadow yet, but that's just because it's not moved in the right direction. So as you can see, as we move this in the Z position, we begin to get the shadow we're looking for. But actually the shadow kind of sucks right now. It just looks like pretty much like another layer really. So we want to give it a realistic shadow. So let me go ahead and change my intensity in my light. We're done working. The only thing we're going to be working with now is light. So under light options, go ahead and give it a little more intensity, brighten it up a little bit. And now to give it a realistic shadow, we probably don't want it this dark. I mean, shadows just aren't that dark. This is like solid black right now. So what we want to do is lighten up the shadow darkness a little bit, and there we go, maybe even a little more, but I want to make sure you guys can see it. So adjust the shadow darkness, and again this is under your light options, shadow darkness. Now another thing that you usually want to do is take the shadow diffusion, and this pretty much means the fuzziness of the shadow. Shadow darkness means how dark it is, shadow diffusion means how fuzzy it is. You probably want to change this to a few pixels, like there, that's good right there, 11. So instead of having nice hard crisp edges, you have a little like faded away like a shadow usually is. So I'm gonna put that at about 12 right there. So again, the key things you have to take note of is make sure the layers you want to cast are turned to 3D. Make sure under the thing that's casting the shadow you have cast shadow on. And another thing, to make realistic looking shadows, you probably want to lighten up your shadow darkness and also your shadow diffusion wants to be somewhere in like the 10 pixel range, or whatever whatever is useful for your animation. So that's your quick tutorial on what shadows are and how to use them in After Effects. I'll probably, well, I don't know what I'm going to be talking about in the next tutorial, so I guess you're just going to have to watch and see. But thank you for watching this tutorial. I hope you learned a little something, but not too much, of course. Don't forget to subscribe, and I look forward to teaching you something in the next tutorial.